I would like to speak to the recent revelation that the NRA has come out in opposition to this bill, primarily because of the issuance of an ex parte order. I think it's important for us to understand that an ex parte order can be issued in this case, but only under certain evidentiary rules, a preponderance of evidence, and that preponderance of evidence is subject to a finding of guilt of perjury if you come in for a reason that is found to be wrong or lying. I would go to my friend from Wheaton and say to her that I understand your concern that the family should be the first one to take action on these types of things, but in a situation where you have someone who is of age, so let's say you have a 25 or 30-year-old child living in the home who's acting the way they are, they have rights. They have civil liberties. They have a Second Amendment right to own a firearm. Without a mechanism by which we can take and go to an independent and objective third party to determine whether or not that person is a danger to himself, herself, and others, I don't see, I understand you, and I don't disagree with what you're saying, but the problem is that the person on the other side whose guns are being taken away by whomever have a right to them. They have a civil liberty. They have civil liberties that unless a court can come in and say, this is why we are doing this, those civil liberties are violated, and those civil liberties are precious, and they must be preserved, and we do it through the court system. We don't do it by private action. So I would urge you, please reconsider your objection to this bill because of that particular reason. We have to think of both parties in this. We have to think of not just the people who see the possibility of violence in a person, but we have to think of the rights of the person whose rights are being suspended or are being taken into account. That can only happen in the court system. That cannot happen in private action. Because then, if that happened, what would happen if you did exercise private action and you lost? You lost. And that person grabbed the gun and did what he or she threatened to do. I don't think you would feel very good about it. This provides a mechanism by which this can be done in a way that protects the civil liberties of the person who is the respondent in this case. And I would say, please, understand the fact that we're not dealing with guns here. We're dealing with a mechanism of self-destruction. We're dealing with people who don't have the capacity to understand what it is that they're going to do to themselves or others. Let's give them the time to get the treatment, to get the help that they need, while at the same time protecting themselves and protecting the rest of society. This is a balance. No, it's not perfect. Ex parte orders are legal. They've been given out all over the place. But what we've done is we've created a standard of proof that says if you issue an ex parte order, you got to come into court within 14 days and prove it. Well, by God, I think that a 14-day maximum limitation on an ex parte order to a person who is imminently in danger of doing harm to themselves or someone else is the price that we have to pay in order to not only protect ourselves, that person, but the liberties that we have. Please, don't look at this as a gun bill. Don't look at who is against this bill. Take a look at what this bill does, not what you think it's going to do. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good here. And parenthetically, I will add, while the NRA is now opposed to those who are concerned about their NRA score, the NRA is not going to score this bill. So vote your switch, vote your conscience, but for God's sakes, vote for an actual bipartisan effort in this House to do something to get the ball moving forward on the issue of mass violence. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.